Hi guys, and welcome back here to the Dev Realm, and today we're gonna be carrying on our series, our modular car. And in the last episode, what we did here is that we did something really simple where we press place, we spawn the car, and we can walk on it. So the episode of today, we're gonna basically do this thing here, so we can move this car to the player position. But what we're gonna do here is that we're gonna create the blocks that we're gonna use to build the car. So let's start with it. So first thing I want to do here is I'm going to go to blueprints. I have here the BP base car. I have the base car playground. So I have the car wheel and things like that. So I'm going to create children of this class. Let's create a children class and let's call this BP base car body, right? Let's open up that. Let me just create here car parts. Let's just call a folder called car parts. Let's move all that stuff here so we know that this is only the parent, we don't have to touch with it. And then in here we got everything else where we got the car body. All right, let's open up the car body here. And what we're gonna do here is that we're gonna add a cube that is gonna be basically be the building blocks for our car. So the idea is that if you wanna build a car, you know, you're gonna press play, press V, you press, I don't know, body, and then you're gonna be able to place these blocks in the world, and then you're gonna be able to build your car, right? Something like that. So let's do this. So we're gonna use this cube here, which is really cool, and that comes with Unreal Engine by default. So we can use that cube here by default. Well, we could use this one as well. I think for the purpose of this video, we're gonna use this one here because you see is a better shape cube. So let's bring this cube here. Nice, so we got the default cube here, which is amazing. And there we go. So let's check how does it look in the game. Let's see if it looks really good here. Oh, wrong thing. Gonna bring that here. And this is our cube, which is a little bit big. So let's make sure that it is a little bit smaller, the size of that. So we're gonna do let me check if we could change the root of that. So here's the cube. So the root. Let me just change here the size. So I'm going to use 0.5 for the size of our cube. Let's check this is too small. I think it's too small. So we're going to leave as 1 then. Let's leave maybe, yeah, let's leave as 1 for now, and then we see if we need to increase that. Right, so what we're gonna do here is that we got the body. If we press simulate physics in here, the car should be able to, I think this should be able to simulate some kind of a physics in them. Cool. Now let's do the logic to place the cube in the world. So what I'm gonna do here is I am gonna untick this for now. So let's just simulate physics. I'm gonna untick that. We're just gonna call this body, and we don't have materials yet, so we're gonna find the materials in a sec. Right, so what we're gonna do here is that we're gonna go to the modular car system. We're gonna open up inputs, the variables, which is in here, part variables. Let's open up here our DT data table, and in there let's just add the reference of this cube to our part here. So I'm just gonna add the reference to that. And then for the wheel, we're gonna add the front wheel and the back wheel. We don't have any wheels yet, so we're gonna have to do that logic to do this as well. And let's see here what does it happen now. So if I come back here, press body, is spawning right there, which is really good. Now let's make sure that that part can follow our movement of our camera, right? So to do that, really simple, it's gonna save everything, is that we're gonna close all that, and we're gonna do this in the component. Let's open up the component, and if you guys remember, we have here this event tick that moves stuff and do certain things on it. So right now, we need to find a better way of casting that object. So the reason why we're doing this is because we're gonna start now using the event tick to move our object around and things like this. So let's go ahead here and create event that we can just return the reference of our part without having to cast two different things. So let's do that. So now I'm gonna go here to our blueprints. I'm gonna create here a new blueprint interface. Let's go back here. I'm gonna create a BPI and let's call this base car part, same name. Let's open up that. And what we're gonna do here is that we're gonna create a new method called return part reference. Let's open up here our output, and the output will be part, and that is going to be BP base part. How do we call that? Base car part. There you go. Let's just call BP base car part. And then we're gonna return the object reference, right? Compile and save. And now this is really cool. Because everything is a parent and extend from this, what we can do here is on the parent class, we can go to class settings. We're gonna go here to interface. Let's search for BPI, the base car part. And on the return part reference, we just return self, right? Compile and save. Now on our modular here, instead of doing cast, what we can do here is I return part reference, and if I do a print, and if he's, of course, is looking at the right data, just to test this, so let's say we're doing that, you see, that is working. And that's basically the same thing as doing cast, but this is much more, is better resource intense, so it doesn't consume that much resources. Let's just clean up this. And there we go. Right, so now we got the reference, we got the part here, we got pretty much everything here that we are looking for. What we can do that is we could do something very specific here. Let me just align that. Now we have to move this part here. And the reason why I did this is because we're probably going to need this reference in the future, but if you remember, we have the spawn preview part here. So we can cast this to a variable, so we can use this to move the part around. So let me just add some colors in here. So this is when we start the building process. This is when we spawn the cube. And let's keep those together like this. And this is when you cancel the building part. Let's just add some color that, just to make things easier. Right, so let's create here a reference to this object, and let's call it preview part. And actually, set promote to a variable called preview part. And this is gonna go inside the building mode, and we're gonna have the preview part. Awesome. I'm gonna compile and save, and here we go. So right now we gonna just delete this for now, and here it returns us a couple of things here. We have a value that means that we have hit something, and then we have blocking hit and overall and this initial overlap. So what we want to do here is that if we hit something, anything, doesn't matter what, we want to move that part that we just spawned to this location. So let's do a branch here. And let's do this. So we're gonna do that is we're gonna get the preview part here, and this is only when we are in building mode, right? So we're gonna do something like that, and we're gonna set actor location to this new place that we want to set here. So we're gonna come here, and the location that we're doing here is basically where we are hitting. In that case, we have a couple of things. So we have impact point, we got location, we got normal. We can kind of play around with a couple of those things. Let's try the location here. Let's see what's gonna happen. Let's press play, and let's see if you spawn the body. As you can see, we cube is working, but has a weird collision with my camera. There's something going on that I don't know exactly what's happening. So let's check what's going on there. So what we have to do here is we need to find a way of adding, of preventing that collision on the camera. There's many ways you can actually do that. What we can do here is in the car body, we can come here to the body mesh, and we're gonna have here, we're gonna go to collision, and we are gonna go to collision presets. Instead of being block all, we're gonna set custom, make sure collision is enabled, and what we're gonna do here is that the visibility and the camera are disabled, and everything else, maybe palm as well, we want to ignore. Compile and save. Let's see if that's gonna work. So we're gonna press here, we're gonna press body, and as you can see, that works kind of well, right? So it interacts and it doesn't interact with pretty much stuff. The reason why it interacts with that cube, because this cube is not necessarily a palm. So if I give an example here, so if I bring another cube, press play, come here, they're not gonna be interacted, because this other cube here is it doesn't have that specific information there. But now we have a problem here, like we can't interact with this cube, and this thing is default, and you can't do anything with it. So let's create some states on the part itself, so we know when the part is in preview, when the part is in deleting mode, or in editing mode, and things like this, so we can control this using events, callbacks, and things like that. So let's do this. So we're gonna click here in the pen, and we're gonna go to the parent editor. So this is the parent, which is basically nothing here yet, but that's the parent. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna create here a couple of events that we can call when, for example, in here when we spawn the preview part, we can set this part into preview mode. And we can, and then when we place that part, we can say we can set that part in placed mode. And then if you go to edit mode, you can move that part, and so on and so forth. So a lot of stuff you can do with it. Let's do this. So in the part itself, which is the parent part, which is the one here, we're gonna create a couple of events. So we're gonna create a custom event, and we're gonna call this API part in preview mode. And then we're gonna duplicate that, right click, we're gonna create API part in delete mode or something like this. We don't know yet. And then we're gonna create another one, which is going to be here API part in placed mode, right? So this is something that I did before in a couple of tutorials. You guys may be familiar with this concept already. But right now, what we're going to do is that we're going to expand this concept to reusable parts. So every part will have some specific gears that we need to make sure that is going to work. For example, the wheels, you want to attach some things, or you want to do some certain specific stuff. So we need to have those parts. And then as the problems coming up, we're going to solve many problems with this. So let's create here 3 new functions for those. So we're going to create, let's open up here. So we're going to create this the first function we're going to call here in preview mode. Next one is going to be placed mode, and the next one is going to be delete mode. All right, compile and save. I'm going to go back here to the event graph, and then we're just going to do this. Plug it in there in preview. Oh, sorry, that's preview mode. We're going to put here in placed mode, and the next one is going to be delete mode. And now let's just put this inside a category called states. Let's go states, and we're gonna save that. Cool, nice. And let's go back here to our where is it, our API here. What we can do here is we can call API in preview mode, right? Right now, nothing gonna happen. We still have to set up the logic in the car body to make sure that it works. So the idea is that once it is in preview mode, it's gonna change the color, and we're gonna remove the collision, but this is gonna be all dynamic, right? So let's do this. So what I'm gonna do that is on the car body here. First of all, let's make sure that we set everything here to the way it was. We can do that dynamically. And now let's override a couple of functions. So the first function I want to override here is the preview mode part in preview mode. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the body, and we gonna set the collision preset. So set collision. So presets all channel. That's the one. No, I think that's the wrong one. Set presets. No, set collision to channel. There we go. That's the one you're looking for. It's the set collision response to channel. So basically, the channel is what we want, and the response is that we want to ignore or not. So we're gonna plug this here, and we know that, for example, the visibility, sorry, is ignored. We also know that the camera, camera here is ignored as well. And let me just do this in a better way. Let's put this here. So we're gonna do something like that. And we also know that the palm as well, the player palm, it needs to be in ignore mode. Alright, so let's do this like that. On and save. Let's make sure this is like that, which is great. So now if I press play, we can interact with the cube, but if I start to place that, the body here, you see that this body is hitting the collision but as you can see, I can clip that, and that's because the one we just spawned has have this thing already enabled. So for example, if you want to make sure that this is working real time, what you can do here is in the event graph, we're just gonna call this preview mode, and we should be able to walk right inside this component, which is really cool. So it doesn't interact with the player at all at the moment. So thank you very much for watching, guys. This is everything for this session. The next lesson we're gonna be actually going a little bit more deep on this, and we're gonna be changing colors, and we're gonna be creating all that logic. You know, when you click, when you place the part in the word, when you right click and you remove the part in the word, and we're going to be creating a couple of options in here. So thank you very much for watching, and I see you guys in the next one.